Howdy peeps, who doing well. So this video probably going to be relatively short and sweet, hopefully, by comparison to the stuff I normally do. I was left a comment recently from Victor Santos, and he was asking if does anyone know any UK MGTOW channels. There are a few out there, none that I know off the top of my head. I suppose there's Scotty, but technically Scotty doesn't do MGTOW quite so much now. What I wanted to talk about in this one is the difference between MGTOW and RedPill, in my opinion at least. I would argue that MGTOW nowadays, 2021, isn't the same as what it was back in 2015 through to 2020 probably, or maybe even a little bit earlier than that. A lot of the channels took a dive, in my opinion. Like, I've just done that thing that I was just thinking before I did the video. I need to stop giving it the right. I need to stop doing that. I'm not meditating mid video or something like that. genuinely just thinking. But a lot of the content creators, I'm just going to take the piss out of myself now, fuck it. maybe that will stop me from doing it, not likely, but whatever. A lot of the content creators did end up going down a different path, and it did seem to be that of, they were not necessarily snake oil salesmen, but they were trying to sell a product, which in one aspect, and again speaking a bit about capitalism, they are capitalising in that aspect on guys that have either gone through a hard time, they've gone through some heartbreak, they've gone through divorce, breakup, that did have an effect on them, and they're capitalising on that. Now, personally, I think that's wrong. Now, look, if I had a little thing where you could, like, what is it called? Like Subscribe Star or something like that, where you guys could donate money if you wanted to. Jesus wept. Why is it so hard to break these habits? It's a bit like dating for me. That's another habit that I find. Actually, no, dating isn't so much of a hard habit to break. It's the not wanting a relationship. That's the bit that I actually struggle with. You see, much as I've spoken about MGTOW in the past, and I've even justified to myself who knows how many times why I probably shouldn't get involved with women, yet I still find myself going back to the same thing. That is why I've never been able to, air quotes, identify myself with MGTOW or MGTOW monk. Just can't do it. It's just, the truth is, it's not me. And I've never pretended to be anything else. Where the difference is, in my opinion, is the red pill. I'm not talking about the Matrix, I'm talking about when your eyes get opened to the reality of the legal system, the shit you go through as a result of getting married, when the marriage doesn't work out, I'm not happy, what have you done for me lately, blah blah blah. And it's like, ugh, that's the red pill, ugh, that bit. It becomes even more of an ugh, right? When you get financially desecrated and you lose at least half of everything you've worked for. As I've said before, in some aspects I've been quite lucky, right? By comparison to other guys, all things considered, I've been quite lucky. I do count my blessings. At the same account, you see, whereas for me, the financial loss, it bothers me, but not as much as sorry, I'm just going to take a few moments to meditate on this one. You know what? Maybe that's what I'm actually subconsciously doing. I'm just meditating on things before. Maybe that's probably what it is. Actually, is I'm very zen-like, don't you know? That's why I'm bald. You know, I'm not actually bald. I could grow a full head of hair if I wanted to. Bullshit. Anyway, there you go. When it comes down to that, for me, it's always been the loss of trust. The fact that I invested in someone emotionally. You know, like what you do in relationships, right? You're supposed to trust the other person. You're supposed to take what they say as being word. A lot of the time, I nearly did it then. A lot of the time, you're expected to believe them and not question them. Needless to say, the effect of doing that puts them in a position of power and having power over you, which, in my opinion, isn't a good thing. You know, as soon as that starts happening in a relationship, my best advice is get the fuck out sharpish, because it ain't going to get any better. And as always, that sort of a scenario invites people that want all the power, all the authority, but absolutely zero responsibility. And from observation, what tends to happen is they will cheat on the other person and still have the nerve to blame the other person to justify their crappy behaviour. You know, and that's what they do. But that's the part that really, really crosses a line with me. That's why there are, you know, some people say, oh, well, you know, just because you break up with an ex, then, you know, you shouldn't have to stop talking to them. The only exception for that, as far as I'm concerned, is when there's kids. And even then, depending on what was done, how it all panned out, even then. Because as far as I'm concerned, once that boundary gets crossed, and this is RedPill, this isn't to do with MGTOW. MGTOW is, you know, I mean, some people say, oh, they were sent their own way. I kind of see it as like, well, it's a good life choice if you can do that, and that's the path you want to take. And it's not about identifying with a label, it's just a lifestyle. It literally is. Some even go as far as identifying themselves as bachelors, which is fine. I mean, technically that's what a lot of us are anyway. You know, we're just bachelors, and some of us date and some of us don't. That's what it comes down to. But digressing back, like I say, when that level of trust gets crossed and trampled on, for me at least, that's the point of no return. Because why would I want to continue interacting with someone that broke the trust that we had? They broke the agreement of faithfulness, because faithfulness isn't just about not going off with other people. And I'm not talking about relationships where they're relatively open, and that's not even a relationship, man. That's just a fuck buddy. That's literally all that it is. So anyone that tells you otherwise, don't kid yourself. If you're in that situation, you just fuck buddies, and that's all. That's the best you can hope for. Chances are they are not relationship material in the first place. Now, me talking about things like that is probably what got Victor Santos to leave that comment in the first place. Could well be that Victor Santos just wants to hear about the usual rhetoric of, oh, women are crap because, and then insert all the reasons here, right? Could well be. RedPill is more about seeing the reality for what it is, so you can at least, if you want to go through them waters, you can at least navigate them with a little bit more knowledge and insight. You know, it's like anything else, they're guidelines. You know, so at least you can pick up things like, you know, I've spoken about red flags within women, what to look out for and all of that. Now, one of the ones that, going off that sort of topic, one of the things, I was having a little think the other day, it hurt my head incredibly. Another reason why my hair keeps falling out, I do a lot of thinking. and with that he starts meditating again. Fuck's sake. Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day. One of my friends, she spends a lot of time putting makeup on and stuff like this. It's like, look, I've had several thoughts about this one, because sometimes, not to do with that particular individual, more to do with what we see in like the places like Tinder and dating apps and things like that. And whereas you can see that they've got all their war paint on, you call it what you will, makeup, right? They've got all of that, and they spend hours doing it. Now the red pill kind of tells you, you know, well, below all that you ain't that beautiful, otherwise you wouldn't spend all that time, you know, putting all this makeup on. And this is how a lot of guys think, and not the majority. I don't think the majority of guys think like that. Personal experience kind of tells me that, and again, this is my perspective. So, and don't be thinking that I'm going out calling people names and like, oh yeah, you're this. No. I'm just trying to give a bit of perspective. So this chick, she spends hours putting makeup on. I mean hours. And she's not a bad person in the slightest. Not as far as I'm aware, anyway. But because of the experiences that I've had with some of the girls that spend that much time putting makeup on, a lot of the time they were really quite shallow underneath, you know, in terms of who they are as a person. And it's sort of like made me sort of question, well, are you trying to bring out extra beauty by means of, and I'll use the term unapologetically, fake up? Because once you take all that off, you know, you don't look the same. So technically it's fake, regardless of whether you're pretty with or without the makeup. You know, and I've had a few girlfriends that have been like that. You know, they're pretty to look at. They put makeup on, and because it's makeup, they look prettier. But that's just it. It's makeup, right? Key words: make up. They're not going to call it make down, are they? You know, just saying. And like with that, it's like the women that I'm referring to in this one, not that particular friend that I'm talking about, but a few of my exes, I suppose. Like I said, deep down, not particularly nice people, very shallow, very inconsiderate towards other people's thoughts and feelings. And look, not just guys, right? Everything was a massive competition for them. They had to be the most beautiful, they had to be the most this, that and the third, and it was just sort of like, my God, you are far too much hard work. That's basically what it comes down to. And somewhere out there I can hear someone saying, this is why you're single. Yeah, good, because I don't want to be with someone that's faking it until they make it. Because you ain't going to make it, because as soon as the fake up comes off, you get seen for who you are. You know, if you're the shallow type of person, and you know you don't care a great deal about others, and or at least you make out that you care a great deal about others, but realistically you don't, and sooner or later them cracks really do start showing. But still, this is the difference between RedPill and MGTOW. MGTOW don't need to know about the stuff that I really talk about. I often put it in the sort of title of the video, because it's something that may be of interest to them. Because, as the saying goes, most MGTOW are only one BJ away from the plantation. When you offer yourself up, back up to servitude, back to square one again. But yeah, anyway, that's enough for this one. Thoughts, comments and opinions, feel free to jot them down as always. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you found a bit of a laugh as well. And I'm going to go back to do some more meditating. So until then, peace out.